On my way up to Smithfield, Maine, I'm going to be meeting with Chris Hartsock, who's working on the project with Northern Clearing. And he had a really interesting story that represented one of the many myths about the project that I'm looking forward to catching up with him on. I'm Thorn Dickinson. This show allows me to talk with Mainers working on the most important clean energy project to ever come to our state. We discuss how this project is providing jobs and other benefits today while creating clean energy for a better tomorrow.
I'm an operator for Northern Clearing. I operate a Timber Pro forwarder, 830C. I am originally from Norridgewock, Maine. My family moved to Rome, Maine. I grew up in that area, Belgrade Lakes area. I went to school in Messalonskee. Graduated in 2007. It was awesome. I really like being in Maine. And what really gets me excited about this project is this wood is being processed. This wood is being sent to mills. You know, it's not going to waste. And what we do have for waste, we're using for environmental control. That's so big. That's a zero waste project. That is such a big deal. And I think that gets overlooked.
Right now we have about over 400 people on the project, but more than 300 of them are residents of Maine, like yourself. And again, the opposition is trying to make arguments that, look, these are really not people from Maine, these are people from Wisconsin or from other states. And you had your own personal story about that.
It's actually kind of funny. I like to spend money locally at local businesses, so I was going to Campbell's to fill my propane, and somebody had followed me in and taken pictures of my truck, but because it has a Texas plate. And there's actually one of my arborist friends that I buy wood from messaged me and said, "Hey, your truck's pictures on this website. You need to check it out. They're saying some pretty rough stuff about you." And I saw it, and it was kind of frustrating because for a long time I have been the traveler for work. This is the first job I've ever been on in my experience in the field where there is an 8 to 10 ratio. That's unheard of. That's unheard of. In some of the areas where the union is the strongest, it would be like a 2 to 1. This is an 8 to 10. That is, that is so great for anybody here that wants to work from home. That's such a big deal.
This is a pattern among the opponents from the very first. When they're not telling half-truths or no truth, they're making stuff up. This gentleman is a Mainer, happened to be working out of state, came back to Maine, is a Mainer employed on the project, in full keeping, mind you, with the PUC order, which requires employment be focused on Maine workers, which is exactly what this is.
I bought the truck in Texas. We had moved there in 2015 for work. And when you buy vehicles down there, the dealership registers them for you. I've had it ever since, and we've been traveling. This is the first time I've been home since. It's been great.
So what happened? So you find out about this. Where does the story go from there?
So it was actually kind of frustrating for me because back in 2017 I put a slab up beside the road that said build the corridor, support local union 104. And somebody had seen it and put it on that same page, and this was in 2017, and said that they were going to come light it on fire. They wanted to shoot it, and then somebody posted my address. And at that point I was like, okay, this is too much. Like, these people are getting really out of hand. My mother-in-law is she's disabled. I have her with me in my truck sometimes. The last thing that I really wanted to encounter was somebody about the project with, if she was with me, that it would be, I don't know how she would handle it. It would be a very stressful situation for her, and that's not fair. So I reached out to Sandy Howard. That isn't fair. It's not fair to go after the workers, even if they are not from here, okay? Even the few that aren't, they're away from their families. their kids' birthdays, Christmas, they're not home. They're not seeing their families on the weekends. It's incredibly difficult for them. And that's not people from Maine. That's not us. People from Maine, if you see a broke down vehicle, you stop and ask if they're okay. That's a courtesy that I've never seen anywhere else in the country. People from Maine are friendly. People from Maine are like that. And to see that kind of disrespect was so out in the open was actually pretty disheartening.
Well, I'm glad Sandy took it down. I do get frustrated that people that support the project are worried about really bullying and
Exactly.
from people in public. We've had supporters whose buses have had their windows smashed in. We've had human excrement delivered to people that are purposely rating businesses 0, even though if they've never been there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good to see Sandy take this down. I hope that she has that same vigilant about all activities. There's so much misinformation about the project, which is really why I do this show, is to have these conversations so people can say, look, if you want to look at the numbers, we can show you each Maine company and how many people they're hiring and how many people are Maine residents, as opposed to just spreading misinformation. So I'm glad in the end that it worked out okay. I'm assuming they eventually took the post down.
Yep, immediately. It was pretty immediate. It was, and I was pretty thankful for that.
Well, I appreciate you also doing the interview. I mean, obviously this is going to go up on social media and has the potential of exposing yourself to more pushback from people in the opposition. But I appreciate your willingness to do it.